Trenzalore, a true planet of boredom. In my old ranking videos, I've said about how I'm not a big fan of Trenzalore, and I see why people shouldn't really be. It's a planet that really offers nothing besides death from Whispermen and silence, and the two main exports you can really get from this is lava and granite, which is frankly really disappointing. But never fear. The Squid team have basically said they're doing an overhaul of Trenzalore so it becomes a more appealing planet, because I understand why. Now, I'm not exactly a veteran of the Dalek mod. I haven't been playing for a while, but I did originally play it in the first time ever back in 2013, and I can say when Trenzalore was added then, it was much more interesting than it is now, because back then at least it had Gravestone, which I understand are being re-added with biomes, which is a really interesting thing, but in this video I'm going to explain what I would add to Trenzalore. This is just me post-recording. I just want to say this is all my opinion, and honestly, whatever the Squid team goes with, I'm going to look so forward to. This is just what I would do if I was like the head honcho, if that makes sense. So I hope you enjoy, and on to what I'm going to build. So now I'm going to talk about the generated structures I would add in. Now, it's so weird because out of all the planets besides Gallifrey, Trenzalore is the planet which has the most potential for generated structures, and this is my first one. So Trenzalore already seems like it's war-torn. It's not there's no nice patches of it. So you've got to have a war-torn area. So here I've got a war-torn version of the town called Christmas from Time of the Doctor. In this town you'll find many relics similar to the Mondasian ruins, and that's where I took main influence from. But if one of those towns has a rare stone brick clock tower, you can find what I call a space-time map. Now this is of course something I've added personally, but I think would be working with the next structure I will add, and I'll talk about that. So yes, you take this space-time map and you go into your Tardis and you plug it into your Tardis monitor, and when you put it into your Tardis monitor, it already sets in coordinates so it can generate the next structure. And here it is, what you've been waiting for since what you saw in the thumbnail. The Tomb of the Doctor. Okay, so I'll explain the space-time map thing. So basically this will be the equivalent of the stronghold for the Dalek mod. This is what I was thinking, right? And so to generate such an amazing, beautiful structure like the Tomb of the Doctor, which is going to have cool rooms and everything, you've got to have a space-time map to actually locate it and be able to generate it. You can't just search for it willy-nilly. You've got to find the space-time map. You look around and you'll see this graveyard with all these sort of cool names maybe etched on it. I hope that when gravestones get re-added there'll be better models, and you can see of course the massive TARDIS. I based this on actually 1 pixel sort of on the TARDIS was roughly 1 to 4 blocks in real life, although I sort of went a bit flary with it so I could be sort of a bit lackadaisical, because of course this TARDIS leaks, so the proportions are not going to be completely correct, so I suppose I can use that for my advantage. But now to talk about what you'll find inside the TARDIS. Now, you cannot break directly into the TARDIS. I've made sure of this because there is lava surrounding it, so you will just fall into lava. You have to go by the entrance, and the entrance you'll have to go by is similar to the show. You'll have to find River Song's grave. Once you go and find River Song's grave, you dig down and there's the entrance. You find the entrance of the catacombs, which is the first section of the TARDIS tomb. You'll find chests and shulkers normally full of roundels or relics from the Doctor like coats and sonic screwdrivers, so you don't actually have to find or craft these recipes in the game if you don't have things like just enough items where it's struggling to sort of craft these things. But also it gives it more of an incentive to find this place. You'll first then find in the first proper room of this structure the architectural reconfiguration system that's been corrupted. I took this influence from the Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, and this was originally in the Dalek Model B console room, like it's an extra added room. Of course it was a bit bigger, but I've sort of added on. I've taken a lot of influence from the original 2013 to use this, because this is a cavalcade of everything that went wrong in the TARDIS, so you could maybe use as a way the old bugs, similar to the Update 47 video. And so with this you see that it's been corrupted by some horrible red thing, so when the TARDIS was trying to sort of save itself from all the war-tornness from the Battle of Trenzalore, you see that it sort of had a corruption and it failed and it broke the TARDIS, and that's how it all started to leak out. The next room you'll find is another sort of corrupted room. It's a cavalcade of all the roundels you see in the Doctor's era. Like, you've got coral roundels, you've got Hartnell roundels, but also you'll find chests full of new cool other relics and also other structures from the TARDIS past. Once you find this room, you'll move on and you'll find more corridors, similar to some sort of unique ones you've never seen, plus hexagonal ones. And from the hexagonal ones, you'll find your next structure, an old, filthy, original console room, based off the Dalek Model C/Hartnell TARDIS, using filthy roundels and also pillars, but using a cavalcade of moon rock on the floor to sort of add as a new texture. Once you've got here, you'll go to Toyota corridors, but that's just a massive maze with no more generated structures until you get up to the top part, where it shows the main access point and the main thing of this structure that makes it so appealing and what everyone's actually waiting for. So now you're at the top floor of this massive tomb, and you go in and you find a big bedrock covered space. So this bedrock basically means you cannot just break in to the TARDIS. You've got to craft a certain thing. As you'll see, this is the only access door. Of course, this would be added like as a new thing, as a new feature. But to get into it, you need to craft a certain thing. I would call it the power of Gallifrey. And to need it, you'll need a dimensional circuit, a clock, a compass, a TARDIS key, a fob watch, and all the sort of Gallifrey blocks you'd use for an elixir of life. The only fairly expensive thing on here is itself the dimensional circuit, but you can find those in Mondas, which means that similar to sort of like the end, you've got to go for all sorts of places like Gallifrey to find these items, and this is what you'll need to enter the TARDIS. And once you do, you'll enter the beautiful old Toyota console from 2013, but it'll be covered in vines. I also use some of the original, like the current Toyota arches to sort of use as a sort of compilation to try and make it really nice. And then finally you'll find this. I know I'm using a beacon, but I wish I could have sort of made something more like Levy and Viney, similar to the show. And so yeah, you'll be stuck here. I don't know if there's actually anything I can really use in this thing to make it more incentive. Like, I don't think a boss would really work. Maybe a great intelligence boss, I don't know. I mean, Dalek Storm was once a boss. But yeah, this is sort of what I've sort of built. There's not really much here. I just think it looks nice, and it's quite a nice place to go, similar to a portal room. But this brings me on to my next point. The Squid team has done so much and done it for so long, like nearly as long as the Dalek. I mean, Minecraft itself, and they've done so much for it. So I think really they deserve their own credits, as it were. So when you walk into this thing, it'll show you like a compilation, a collage of all the old and new stuff that the Squid team has done, showing you sort of how far they've come from their early roots, and I'll show the credits of the people who've worked on it. So yeah, and that would be it. Thanks for watching this. I hope you really enjoyed it. This took a long time, like 3 days to build, and it's sort of just what I would do if I was the head of Trenzalore. So I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, please subscribe, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video. Bye bye.